looking out on the morning rain. I used to feel so uninspired until the day I met you. Life was so unkind. Your love was my peace of mind. And you make me feel You make me feel like a natural woman. Hello, Boozhoo. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Boozhoo, NANABOOZHOO. Wait, I got a title here. No, it's not going to work. Oh, wait. Yeah, well. Welcome back to Boozhoo, NANABOOZHOO by Michael Lyons. That's me. We're calling today's live stream podcast Quitting Weed number 2. Yesterday, I put out my first video diary, or whatever you want to call it, about my journey to sobriety. Excuse me. These are some of the symptoms, what I'm going through. Today marks day 3, actually, of not having weed. In a couple hours, it'll mark the 72-hour since the last time I smoked. And I wanted to share it to, honestly, to hold myself kind of accountable. I've been smoking weed for 30 years. And, I half-assed tried to quit a few times in the past, but I was never serious about it. But I've become so incredibly depressed and full of anxiety and all this stuff. And see, this is hard to talk about. Yesterday I pre-taped it because, oh good, there's some people here. Say hello if you're here. Ikadon Boozhoo. Say hello. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my quitting pot. And I don't know if you saw yesterday's video or not, but it hasn't been easy. But I'm happy to say on day 3, these are my symptoms. So first day, of course, I smoked up the last of my weed on, was it Tuesday? Monday? Stoner memory. I know this is the 3rd day. Oh, good. Jim's here. Boozhoo, Jim. Boozhoo mukakina awia. Hello, everybody. Have a cup of coffee. Sit down. Rockstar cartoonist is going to get real with you guys. I've decided to quit smoking pot, and I'm going through withdrawal symptoms. I've been educating myself on YouTube, other coaches, people who have given up drugs, pointers on how to do it, benefits, and withdrawals. Let me start with the withdrawals. Number 1, for any young kids watching this, weed is very addictive. At least it was for me. Well, I don't know if weed's addictive. Some of us have addictive personalities. We become addicted to stuff. I became addicted to marijuana in the 90s when I was in college. Like a lot of people, I enjoyed smoking weed. Always. But it also became something I was totally dependent on. It became, I called it my antidepressant, anti-anxiety. And I thought it was because I struggled with depression and anxiety. And I felt especially depressed and fearful when I wasn't stoned. But now I'm seeing that a lot of that was just the beginning of weed withdrawal. So 2 months ago, I hit rock bottom. 'Cause you hit rock bottom and you're there to stay. Kiss tune. I hit rock bottom, and I had never been more depressed, more anxious. I don't even know the right word. Anxious isn't a good word. Oh, I have anxiety. I'm so anxious. I can't wait. No, it's not that. It's fear, dread. It's dread. I was filled with dread, negative, fearful feelings about the future, very negative, depressed feelings about the past, a preoccupation with the past. Maybe I'll get into it. Anybody out there who quit smoking weed and can offer any sort of advice, I'd appreciate it. I'm going cold turkey. So this has been the journey so far. Quit smoking weed one day. Made it through the day without smoking it. I was already completely depressed anyway, and preoccupied with all the issues around my depression and my post-traumatic stress disorder and blah, 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 million different, mental and physical issues, spiritual problems, spiritual crisis. But the first day wasn't too bad. Had trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. And I mentioned yesterday how in my life, especially for the last 4 years, so in the last 4 years, I haven't had to work a regular job. I've just been doing my podcast, and I had a radio show that I would pre-tape from my home. And I could do all this while while smoking weed all day long. I didn't really get high anymore. I stopped the weed withdrawals and could make myself feel normal. But whatever. So I was having a life crisis and was realizing that the weed's actually making it much worse. Weed turns on you after a couple of years. At first, it relieves your depression and your anxiety. And then it becomes a way to feel normal. And you're always kind of high, but mostly you're just not straight, Then day 2, the depression worsened. And it was really, hey, Bonjour Niji. Sovereign Garage, cool name. Yesterday, was it? No, day before yesterday then. So on day 2 without weed, I was incredibly depressed. Insomnia, anxiety, and irritable as hell. I went marching over to the grocery store, and I was hoping I'd run into somebody who I'm hurt by so I could tell them how much I hated them. They weren't there, luckily. And I just kind of suffered through until the evening. I was able to sleep for a few hours, woke up at 2:30 in the morning, did a little 10-minute video, quitting weed, number 1. And then I got all this love and support from the NANABOOZHOO crew telling me that I did have friends, actually. and that they I really appreciated it. Here's one symptom of the weed withdrawal. My emotions are right in my throat. I swing up and down. I can't, I'll break into tears at any moment. So insomnia, depression, anxiety, and, even feeling happy about some kind words from the Boozhoo crew will make me cry. So thanks, you guys. Then last night, this is my third night without weed. Woke up twice. Well, I sort of slept on and off, had nightmares. Woke up twice, drenched in sweat, and then freezing. So I have like flu symptoms or whatever. Oh, yesterday too, this is a gross thing I hate to admit, but might as well. Part of my lifestyle when I'm doing these podcasts, I have over here, it's still laying there, 2 towels on the floor because I'm constantly spitting up stuff. It's just out of hand. The towels get drenched with lungu. And I try to ignore it, but... So I woke up twice in cold sweats. But I'm happy to say, and they say the first 3 days are the worst. Certain markers in the recovery process, or whatever you want to call it. Get through the first 3 days, and then there's a 2-week mark that's also significant. I'm looking forward to. But I woke up this morning, and I could feel it. I could feel that my depression was reduced at least in half. Now I'm still depressed. I'll still cry over anything. Anything. A song. A sad song will make me cry. TV commercials. The smallest kindness. And at the same time, negative memories. I feel just raw, like an open wound. But some of the cloud is lifting. I'm still aware of all the issues. Maybe I'll share with you at some point that led me to wanting to end my life 2 months ago. But there's no way I'll ever do that now. There's no way. Rockstar cartoonist. The comic book autobiography of Michael Lyons. It's a comic book I illustrated and drew that is about my life. It's one long comic strip. It's like a 150-page comic strip. And what it is, I know I'm all over the place, you guys, forgive me. What it is from the day of every page or two is 1 year in my life where I talk about music, cartoons, and relationships I was in. Relationships. Girls I liked. What I didn't talk about in Rockstar Cartoonist was how I'd become a drug addict 30 years ago. And at 56, I'm trying to clean myself up. So, I don't know why I'm talking about that. Oh, I'm not going to end my life. And I'm still well aware of all the issues, of what brought me to my lowest point in my life. Nothing has changed about my opinions of what has happened, but it doesn't feel so bad. That's why my depression has been cut in half. I feel like by tonight, I'm going to go, what was the fuss about? So my depression is alleviating. My anxiety. I am a nervous wreck. I'm a great actor. I'll tell you that. I can do voices. I can sing and dance. I've never done any acting, as a human being, only as a puppet. I'm not bad looking, but I got kind of screwed up reservation teeth. My parents never got me braces, so, I'm goofy looking. Nobody wants to see someone who looks like me in a movie. I look kind of like if Ralph Macchio grew up in northern Minnesota and had neglectful parents. I know about as much karate as Ralph Macchio. Wax off, wax on. Paint the floor. But anyway, so I am feeling I'm feeling much better. The sun is coming out, and I do believe it's because the weed is leaving my system. I heard a guy on YouTube say this, and it was really helpful. Pain. Pain with purpose is tolerable. When you look at your withdrawals, the pain of the withdrawals, and the pain is, the physical, the sweats, the chills, the flu symptoms, the depression, anxiety. But when you think of it as, this is just your body healing. You have pain when you ride a bicycle in your legs, but you don't take it personally. You don't get depressed over it. You go, because it's making you stronger and you're going faster, and it's fine. The pain I'm going through psychologically and the withdrawals from my weed addiction, it isn't that bad. Emotionally, it's not that bad. So I'm feeling encouraged by that. There's a lot of encouraging YouTube videos out there, coaches, who I've learned a lot from already. And, I'm employing it. I went out and bought some healthy food, some blueberries and strawberries and bananas, some deli cold chicken, I've been eating really clean. And I don't know, things are getting better. They really are. So, quitting weed, number 2. It's so far going pretty well. Now, I don't know. Yesterday, I right now, there's a dealer in Bemidji who's hanging, I hope, I don't care. I was going to say, I hope still has my bag, $100 worth of weed, which I buy about every 5 or 6 days. I mean, it's insane. I spend more money on weed than I do on rent. I used to. One of the other things I learned about getting over weed is to write out your reasons why, your excuses for not smoking. I spent 30 years creating excuses for why to smoke. Well, I quit drinking because I smoke marijuana. It wasn't that big of a deal. I could still be high. I had all these excuses for it. Even the money. I go, okay, well, so I looked at the message to my dealer and I realized it had been a whole 10 days since I'd spent $110 on marijuana. On terrible, I don't know if any other weed smokers out there. You ever have one of those dealers who's like, hey, try this stuff. It's called Lemon Joy or some stupid name. And you smell it and go, yep, I can smell some lemon in that. Do you have any weed smelling weed? What does someone just spray it with Febreze? It's just this terrible stuff. And, that's good stuff. It's like, shut up. We're addicts. Weed isn't good or bad. It's just what we have to have. Oh, I had a great time. Shut up. Even that, my attitude is changing about how I feel about weed and drug dealers and the whole culture. I got this way when I quit drinking beer and all alcohol, actually. I guess I was an alcoholic, but I glossed over that because, like an addict, you always have excuses. Yeah, sure, I drank every day, 3 or 4 beers. Big deal. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm just a drunk. I can quit whenever I want, and sure enough, I did. But whatever. I just traded that, just smoked more, Anyway, so the excuses for not smoking weed. My excuses for living straight. On the top of the list was more money. I want to have more money. I'm sick of constantly living in total poverty, fearful, just borrowing from Paul to pay Peter, or whatever. That's an expression my grandma used to have. I wanted to have more money. I wanted to feel better. My excuses are, I believe that I will level up myself, that weed's not actually helping me anymore. It probably never did. It's hard to talk about, you guys. I went to my first NA meeting last night, Narcotics Anonymous. And I was a total jerk, I guess. I have to remind you, I'm totally irritable. My personality, normally I'm a agreeable, friendly person. I laugh at everybody's jokes. I'm social. But yesterday I went to this place and I won't tell you everything, but it was stupid. Ridiculous. I hate AA mentality stuff. Right away, this dimwit. I'm in there. I'm realizing I'm not like these people, number one. It was meth heads and homeless people and just, brain dead. Obese people. That's the other thing. Hey, we're going to talk about addiction here. Can we talk about food addiction? Are you guys going to be helpful? But when you go to an AA meeting, number one, they're only half an hour long. So we spent 15 minutes, the guy just reading out of a folder, copied stuff you could have got off the internet from AA, We believe that drugs only lead to institutions, jail, or death. It's like, not necessarily. Look at Keith Richards. Look at Johnny Depp. I mean, life leads to death, but it was all this stupid AA mentality of we are powerless. We must look to God or whatever your understanding of a higher power. They don't want to be Christian, but they definitely, it's all about, surrender yourself to a higher power. I'm like, you know what, you guys, do you even know what you're talking about? And by the end, I couldn't keep my mouth shut anymore because I was so irritable from the weed withdrawals. And I go, are you guys serious? I actually said this. I go, I guess this isn't what I expected. Because you're not allowed to talk to each other. You go around the room and it's like, hello, my name is Michael, and I'm a drug addict. Next, Or you say a little bit, I told him, I've been smoking for 30 years, and this is my second day clean. Next guy. Yeah, I haven't smoked meth or heroin in 6 weeks. I was a homeless guy in Washington. I'm covered in tattoos. I'm fat. When I raise my arms, I got these disgusting... You ever see those people with those red dots? I don't know what it is. That super fat people get all under his armpits and stuff. And he's wearing a cut-off t-shirt. Like, dude, do you have any idea how repulsive you are? But we go around the room, and I want to comment on what they're saying. It's like, so, I had a hard time, blah, 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 but I'm getting through. And I would say, I want to ask a question. I go, no, there's no interaction. Oh, okay. And then by the time we get end of the half hour, I'm realizing, what's the point? This isn't group therapy. And people are like, oh, no, not at all. But I thank God my sobriety for these meetings. I go, why? What do you possibly get out of this? You could read, they made us recite the Lord's Prayer, which I actually like, except in that context. Because it's such loser mentality. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Well, the only things you can't change are the past, your height, your race. Sorry, college liberals. You can't just choose to be a Native American because your grandmother was a Cherokee princess. Sorry, you guys. You ever go, I'm from the wannabe tribe. I'm a pretendian. But everything else you can change. To accept the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can. Yeah, give me courage. I have prayed for that. Because I think that's what the opposite of anxiety is. Courage. I asked God to give me courage, finally. I said, I'm the cowardly lion. I'm the cowardly Michael Lyons. I'm afraid of everything. I have nothing but dread and fear. I don't really drive. The only time I drive, I have an old beat up pickup. The only time I drive is when I have to get like kitty litter or something I can't carry. Otherwise, I always walk to the grocery store and I just get enough food for the day or two, something I can carry to bring home, because I'm kind of afraid of cops. So I asked him for courage. And I learned that courage, you still have the fear. That's okay. The weed I was hoping would alleviate my fear, and it doesn't. So I asked him for courage. And today, I'm feeling more courageous. And even yesterday at the NA meeting, I felt fearless by just talking real. I said, listen, you guys, I'm irritable because of my withdrawals. I didn't apologize for what I was saying, but I just called them out. I was like, I feel worse now after coming here than I did before. I thought I would come in here and meet other people going through, and we could share, and I could help others, and I could learn from others. But this is none of that. I don't know what this is. It felt like people who had been court ordered to go to a meeting. And I realized how stupid that is. Oh, I'm going to court order you to go to a NA meeting. You have to go to treatment. That's not going to do a thing if you don't want to quit. So I'm at a point in my life, I want to be free of my addiction to marijuana. But I want to be a happier person. I want to be a less fearful person. I want to have more money. I want a different life. I don't know if I can blame the weed on all my problems, but I'm not afraid to change. You know, I'm no longer going to stay the same person. I'm going to let the old Michael die. Some people talk about sobriety as being reborn. And I kind of feel that way. But to be reborn, you have to die to yourself, die to the past. It's kind of strange that some of us have to become suicidal to get to that stage. I'm ready to be different. You know, I wasn't the level of loser that everyone at the meetings were. I've never been homeless, like real homeless. There have been times I've, slept on, my brother's couch when I was 22 for a few days until I got a place, I've had roommates and I've been living in poverty and stuff, but I was never one of those zombies like you see in Washington or San Francisco. It was nothing like that. That was never my experience. Those people aren't my community. Anyway. All right, I'm going to cut this short, you guys. I want to say chi miigwech, great thank you to the people who've... See, I'm going to cry again. Thank you so much for offering your support and telling me that you're my friend. You're not. You're total strangers on the internet. But I appreciate people who wrote in and encouraged me to stay on the path of sobriety. And day 3, starting day 3, no weed. I'll let you know tomorrow how it's going so far. Thank you, Dr. Evils. I love that name. I always think of, I am Dr. Evil. All right, you guys. Where's my outro music? I have it here. Here we go. You have been watching the rantings of the rockstar cartoonist going through weed withdrawals. Kazakin, I love you. And Gigawabamen Minawa. I will see you again.